Okay, do you guys have feedback? Can you hear me? Sorry guys, can you hear me now? Okay, do you guys have feedback? Can you hear me? Ha ha ha, Mindy. Actually, love shorting. Okay, can you guys hear now? This is cool that I can see the chat as well. Yes, you can hear me. Ha ha ha, Mindy. Yes to feedback or yes, you can hear me. Okay, can you guys hear now? This is cool that I can see the chat as well. So it's yes, you can hear me. Yes to feedback or yes good with volume. Can you guys hear now? This is cool that I can see the chat. No feedback. So it's yes, you can hear me. Yes to feedback or yes good with volume. Can you guys hear now? This is cool that I can see the chat. No feedback. Okay. So it's yes, you can hear me. I can figure that out. Sorry for the feedback, guys. How about now? Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Hi. That's my little Scarlet saying hi. Hi. No sound, but no feedback. Success, in other words. Awesome. Okay, guys. So we'll go ahead and get started. If she goes crazy screaming, I will try to mute everything so that you do not have to listen to her screaming. But she should be good now. She's having gummies and applesauce. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, this was the disaster of last night. She decided to snack on this. So my little one was eating and had a nice pear glass ornament for a snack. And yeah, that was no fun. We ended up in the ER. And if you guys have kids, if anyone eats anything they're not supposed to, foreign bodies, especially sharp objects, are definitely a high priority in the emergency room system. Many people say, oh, you're going to wait for hours in the emergency room in Canada. We were in and out within an hour and a half. So thank God to the system. You know, nothing has happened to her. Thankfully, the doctor was like, no, should pass through okay because it was so small. If it was something of a blockage, that would be disastrous. All right, this is cool. I can see the chat. So I can't put the chat on the same screen that I am watching, I don't think. Let me see if I can do that. No, I can't. So if I turn my head, that's what I'm looking at. I want to let you guys know I am partnering with Speed Trader. They are offering $100 in free trades or 1 month of free trading. You can just go to speedtrader/CarpeProfit or bit.ly/speedtrader with capital S. And they have amazing rates. They also, the really cool thing is they have the electronic system where you can pick where your trades are being routed. So they have 25 different routing systems. So that's pretty awesome. Also, the Modern Trader Summit, 26 days left until the early bird seating sale ends. So that's like 25% off. Definitely awesome. I do have some great speakers. Last year was a huge success. Amazing city in Montreal. You can see the event timeline here. It will have, you know, a catered breakfast, lunch, and cocktail hour. So it's not only an amazing event with amazing speakers, but everything is taken care of for the day. You can see what Montreal is all about with the Montreal scene, the hotel details, and if you don't have a passport, it's even on here. I tried to cover everything for you guys. Try to make it really easy. What I really wanted to talk to you about is this. This is the volume heat map on Thinkorswim. It's actually under Active Trader. And I really love it because this was actually the close print right here on Friday for the S&P, which has massive volume, right? 3.9 million. But you can see in real time, like this one for SH, which if we go over here, is the pro shares short of the S&P 500. Thank you, sweetheart. And that one, if we go to the 15-minute chart for the day, you can see, right, it looks like roughly 31 to 31.10 is where the massive volume was for the day. Well, you can see that happening in live action during the trading day. And that's why many times I will say, hey, I like Amazon if it goes above this particular level, this particular price. And people are like, oh, really? Yeah, like you're going to pick a particular price. There's a reason why. Because the volume talks, right? I say that on Twitter. Why not go with the volume? If you see this massive volume right here, that's not typically going to be a retail trader, right? Who's buying 1.4 million shares at 31.09? Very few people, right? It is also great for a low float stock because you can see, say, on like Dries, when Dries was going crazy, you can see when someone is selling or buying based on that level. You don't know which side of it is selling or buying, but you know that there's a big either resistance or support right there that's setting up, and that's an important level to watch. So I think it's really a valuable tool because you can see in real time what is important to watch. There's no more, sweetheart. All right, and also I told you guys before with Short Squeeze, I used to do Short Squeeze for the short volume of the day. VolumeBot is a free service, a free website now, which is awesome. I always try to give you guys the free stuff because I remember what it was like starting out to try to find free tools. Sorry, my little one is getting into stuff here. And if you guys like the background, really love XSplit Broadcaster, and this is their XSplit VCam. I got to give them a shout out because it's totally cool. But here you go, Scarlett. Here, have this. Okay. And so I'm going to try to run through this pretty quickly because my little one is going to be upset with me for... No, not right now, my love. Okay. So we'll get into the SPY. And this is our 15-minute chart. Let's pull it back on the daily. All right, so I'd mentioned before on the weekly chart in my blog review that I said, hey, right down here, this is the sweetheart. This is the 200 period average down here where it bounced off of. And then if you go back and you look back at 2007, right? When we had the major drop, or 2008 here. So it tested the 200 moving average and bounced up to the 50. So that's why I've been saying, hey, if these patterns repeat themselves, right, let's watch the S&P to bounce up to potentially the 50 moving average on the weekly. Because that could happen. Anything is possible, right? The market is irrational. And I like to watch fib levels as well because many times you will see that there will be buying or selling on the fib levels on the daily. You know, so this was the bottom of the bounce, and then this is the top of this last week to the close. And it looks like maybe we could go up and we could test this level right here, 256.67. I would watch that for a long potential target for the week. As always, guys, you know, I did have my Series 7. I am not current, so this is all my personal opinion, and no results are ever guaranteed. So please trade with your proper risk management and do your own due diligence before you get into any trade. Like, I got to give that disclaimer. This is all my opinion. So I would definitely watch the indices potentially for an upward swing. However, we will see what happens with Trump, the market shutdown. Excuse me, not the market shutdown, but the government shutdown, China, all that sort of stuff. Really, all of this market movement is happening with or without the news, but the news likes to tie the market's movement to something in the news. But the market would likely move with or without it. So, bless you, sweetheart. So let's get into the longs for the week. So first one on my list is Mattel. We'll go to a 15-minute chart. And do you guys have any questions? I am seeing this over here too. So I have this up. I can put this up over here so that I can see it as well. Just a second. All right. So basically with Mattel, I have support of 1032 and resistance of 1052 on the yearly chart. You can see this one is curling up, had massive volume. The big thing I like, 72.59% short float volume on the stock from Friday. Yeah, that's you and your sister. And the float is 343.7 million. I'm sorry, my little one woke up from her nap, so she is participating today. The life of a mom and a trader. So here we have AKAO. I love this software, TradingView, because you can put alerts, you can put price levels, they stay there until you take them away, just like that. So AKAO, massive volume on Friday, and you can see it's starting to run up. And this one has 58.78% short float volume on Friday. For support and resistance, I had support down here, 157, resistance, 191. Obviously, that whole number of 2 is going to be really important as well, just on the mental level. But I would watch, I'd watch the volume and see where it is taking it. It does look like it's about to curl up here as well on the MACD. So we'll see what pre-market does for it. AKO does have 29.4 million in the float. Next on the long list is GME, GameStop. Big day on Friday, ran up, and I would say support of 1482, resistance of 1536, and that's it for that one. It does have 71.34% short float volume there, and it has 99.9 million. If it does break the level of 1561, I think we're easily going to head on up to 1650. 1700, it says 17 level, and then if we break that, look, really we could go all the way up to the 20 level and have it run up as well. Last year, if you look at it, it ran up from December all the way to February 24th. So that does have a nice 2-month upward movement to it. So we might see that again going into this year. Next on the long list is Differin. You can see it did have a split back here. So really, I would look more at this area right here from the 17th on. It did come down, find a base down here, 183. It's been holding right there. And this is the first real big up candle. I would say support of 211 and resistance of 232. And if it does break that 232 level, it could move on up. This does have 3.17 million in the float since that split and 52.96% short float volume. Last one on the long list is SGRY. Again, strong day on Friday. 1094 for support, 1118 for resistance. It was hard to find stocks that were actually good shorts this week because we did have such a strong day on Friday. So it seems like the trend at the moment is going to be long. However, I've been seeing that it's more they take it up to sell it off. So watch everything. Be cautious with longs for sure. So 1094 for support, 1118 for resistance. This does have 18.2 million in the float, 76.25% short float volume on Friday. It does look like it could curl on up and test that 1273, actually that 1230 level. It looks like that on the bigger picture, looks like that might offer more resistance, you know, in the running up area because it was support before. But just keep it on watch. Then we have RCN. So RCN, massive spike up on Friday, but it couldn't really hold that spike. They did have earnings and it gapped up, but I think that this could potentially be a gap fill to the downside if it does break the 1559 level right here. See, it gapped up and then it came back down, tested here, and it could come down further and come back down potentially down to that 1418 level. So keep that on watch. It does have 29.8 million in the float. We also have ESPR. So ESPR, this had a down day on Friday, and I would say support of 40.53 and resistance of 42.28. So you can see this has been hovering here. This was a resistance before and a support before. So if it does break that, looks like we could easily go down to the 37 area, and if that 37 area breaks down, potentially down to that 52-week low of 33. This does have 21.7 million in the float. Just have to check my little one since she did eat glass yesterday. BOXL. This is another potential short. You can see every time in the past it's had run-ups because it is lower float. It does have 2.4 million in the float. When it's had a run-up, it goes parabolic and comes back down. Run up here, and then it came back down. So it does look like it's in that run-up phase and then like substantial drop back down. So I would watch it because it is lower float, but I would say if it breaks above 171, that could be a potential squeeze that would happen. You know, with a further test of up to 214 is the next resistance. If it does break down through 160, it could come down for a support test of 144 and then on down to 132. Thank you, sweetheart. Next one on the short list is ADIL, another lower float with 3.8 million. You know, if you do like shorting these low float stocks, please be careful because they do squeeze people, and that double momentum can cause a massive run up fairly quickly. So I would say support of 627, resistance of 678. On the yearly chart, you can see they had their IPO back in July, and since it broke out from there, here on the 21st of December, it's been running up, but it could easily come back down and test that 428 level. So keep it on watch. You know, if it does break down here, I think maybe a test of 576, then the 5, and further on down to test 437. Last one for my short list is Mogu. So this one did have an IPO back on December 6th. Every time it's broken out, right? It broke out here, it ran up, came back down. I was not able to find float information. I'm sure that in the initial offering, it does have the float, but I don't know what the institutional holding is. So I don't know what the public float is that's being traded day to day. So you can see every time it goes up, pulls back, breaks out, runs up, pulls back, breaks out, pulls back, and it looks like it's in this pullback motion. So if it does break down, I think we'd have a further test of the 18 level and then on down to potentially 1650 from there. Just keep it on watch. And for some potential longer term holdings, I have Conagra that does look like it's in that upward curl motion to it, as well as TRMB. Not all of these do have massive volume to them, so please be careful as well. This one does have volume behind it. This looks like it could be curling up. The one that I would be extra cautious on here is Link. It does have this 4.37, 4,300 shares that were traded on Friday. So keep it on watch, but it does have nice upward motion. Another great site that Stephanie Cameraman exposed me to, who is a stock whisperer, is the Equity Clock, where you can see that there are, you know, trends that happen over time, which I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Like with oil or with natural gas, the seasonality of it. So, and I didn't even think that maybe that would happen with Coke. Obviously retail, I would say yes, because of, you know, holiday shopping, that sort of stuff. But I didn't realize all these different sectors. So this is a great resource. They do have free aspects of it as well as paid service. So definitely check that one out as well. And the final one for potential longer term holding is Zooms. So you can see Zooms, when it gets to the beginning of the year, they tend to have a run up. So I would watch this one potentially as a longer term swing. If they break this 20 level, I'd say it probably is going to run up to potentially 21.45 in my opinion, and then maybe 23 and up to potentially the 25 level. All right, guys, I hope you like my content. If there's anything you guys want me to share more of, let me know. Please like and subscribe. Definitely check out the Modern Trader Summit. It's going to be an awesome event. Everything is pretty much taken care of. You just show up and have a great time. All right, guys, have a great week ahead. Bye.